big of a difference from working during the day. And what you don't see, because it's like 10 degrees in my office, is I'm wearing my Dreamglow shirt. But it's so cold in here, I can't wear my jacket.
You don't have a heater in there?
No, it's not very strong, so I just have to accept it. Well, but anyway,
the sentiment is very sweet.
You're welcome.
Honored.
It's one of my favorite shirts, so
I love that.
It's awesome, and that's kind of what I want to start with. So you released an EP last year, and when I kind of, because I was following Eric first, and because I found out about his Steep Hills album. I think you probably heard that from a Molly Parton live stream, and so I kind of just knew you as like his wife, and then through him I found out that you released an EP, and so I was like, oh my gosh, so you play music, and which we'll get into in a little bit, but I kind of want to start off with that. So the Dreamglow EP, so were you recording that at home, or how did that come about?
Yeah. So we have a tiny little home with 2 bedrooms, and one of the bedrooms is now Eric's office, since he's working from home. But for a while, it was just our recording room and where we keep all our extra junk.
Yeah.
So we had a little station set up, and I just like set my intention to go in there, like I think it was every Tuesday, and just work on music for like, there was never a set time, but I always ended up doing like 4 to 5 hours working on songs.
Yeah.
Recording and kind of writing as I went.
Yeah. Because listening to it, I mean, it's not a very traditional, like, I would say, like, I don't know, genre, I guess. I was trying to figure out what genre it would be, and I can't really pinpoint it because just how the instruments play off of each other. And of course, White Water, you have that ending where it kind of like slows down and kind of speed up again. And I was trying to, and I don't know, it seems like it was kind of out of nowhere comes this little EP. It's just very creative, lots of little parts and interesting dynamics. And did you have, as far as mixing and mastering, was that in house, or did you go? I guess I could check Bandcamp and figure that out.
That was actually our good friend Matt Hagerman.
There you go. So he did the mixing and mastering for it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
He did
a great job.
Yeah, I like it. And again, just like the textures of it, it doesn't necessarily fit a genre. And it's kind of one of the many reasons I like it.
Thank you.
And
I take that as a compliment. I always have a hard time when people ask me like, what's your genre? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Indie pop rock. That's like the best I can get.
And Spotify, like when you try to, like, do you use DistroKid or yeah, okay. They ask you what genre is this song, and then you're like, well, let me try to describe it. And they have all these very limited options of what the genre is. It's like has to be what your genre is because it feels like you're kind of narrowing yourself in, and then if they don't like the genre you said, then they'll just not even try. Indie pop, I'm not interested, and I don't know. And then you try to think, what bands do I sound like? I guess I could try to help them along with that, And so as far as subject matter on the EP, was that kind of written like the instrumentation, like just as you were in the room for the 5 hours a day? Or were those already concepts that you had, you knew you wanted to write about, and then you just needed a vehicle through instrumentation?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it was both.
Okay.
So some of them I had like this very bare skeleton that I wrote either on the piano or on the acoustic guitar. And then, yeah, just as soon as I get to my recording station and have all these instruments to explore with, things kind of shifted and turned into different things. And then vice versa. Like sometimes I would have like the instrumentation idea and then would like flesh out lyrics. Like the vibe, the feeling that I was trying to express would come out in words as I was like recording the instruments and
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
because I'm just drawing it from just listening to the songs themselves, but if as the subject, as far as the subject matter is concerned, it would like growing up in a Judeo-Christian household, like there's a lot of I can sense, I can draw some kind of that meaning that direction. Specifically my with Whitewater and maybe oh my God, is it Mount Laurel? Is that the name of the
Mountain Laurel.
Mountain Laurel? Yeah.
Yeah.
So or am I just kind of projecting in that sense?
No, totally. It, yeah, a lot of it, I mean, a lot of it is inspired by nature, which is where I connect with God the most.
Right.
And yeah, so it's like a lot of the lyrics are kind of me processing things that I'm going through in nature with God. Um, yeah, that's the simplest way I could put it.
Okay, good answer.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so so forward with that. So like I said before, I kind of knew I thought I'd only really known you kind of through Eric. And then out of nowhere you're releasing this EP, and that's not only very individual as far as songwriting, but very good. And then I saw a picture of you for the promotion. I think you're like holding a thing of flowers or something. And I realized that I actually had seen you play before on an Oh Hello's Audio Tree Live, like 4 or 5 years ago.
What?
Is that true? Is that?
Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a long time ago when my hair was like really short.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was like, man, that's why she seems so familiar, because I was trying to pinpoint it. And I actually looked back I went back and looked it up, and I was like, that's where it was. It was so you had been doing music before this EP, like professionally, I want to say, or is that too much of a overstatement?
Professionally.
I mean, compared to like, I don't know, like you get paid to play gigs and tour. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I guess that is professional. I think I just maybe don't see myself as a professional.
well, I do it like 2 hours a day, maybe before my kids wake up in the morning. So I guess
Yeah.
comparatively, that's like professional. I guess that's where I'm coming.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, I mean, we toured. I got like per diem and I got paid after tours. Um, yeah, so yeah, I did it professionally for a little bit with the Oh Hellos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Good.
But
Yeah.
also really hard. I realized that tour life is rough. It's draining for an introvert, especially being in a band with 13 people and a bunch of boys. It was rough at times, but also so cool and awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I was kind of moving that direction. I guess you kind of maybe already answered the question, but like stepping back from that, like I mean, maybe not anymore, but maybe like how old are you when you were touring with them?
Oh, that's a good question. I was in my early 20s for sure. I'm 29 now. Yeah, early 20s. I can't pinpoint the exact age.
Okay. Your choice to kind of step away from that, I guess that based around just how draining it was for you as, I guess, an introvert, or like how stepping away from something that people would kind of look up to as like the goal in music. Like, was
Mhm.
that like maybe you already answered that question? Was it because of how draining it was? And
That was part of it. This is gonna be like People magazine or something,
oh,
but I was dating
oh,
someone in the band
all right,
and yeah, I went through some heartbreak. So
okay, you can keep
yeah,
it.
that was also part of that.
To go too much into depth.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
magazine. All right, I'll add them on this.
Yeah, you should.
Oh
They're
boy.
like, "Who the hell is Amber Shirah?" Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to cuss.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's okay. Eric dropped a few f bombs in his,
Okay,
so
good.
you're in the clear.
Yeah. When he cusses, it doesn't sound like cussing. Like, it sounds cool and fun, and then when I cuss, I feel like it's like,
Is
ugh.
that what you tell him? When you cuss, it sounds cool and fun.
No, I don't
It's
think I
like
have
it's not
ever
like
told him, but
a compliment to him.
I should tell
You're
him.
a cool and fun cusser, you know that?
Yeah.
It's cool and fun. Your
I
first
should
date with
tell
them, you sound cool and fun.
him. Yeah.
Oh man. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, that that's a good reason to maybe step away. And so,
Yeah.
were there ever any ambition? I mean, obviously, because this seems to be on like your only release, like solo
Mhm.
release.
Yeah.
Was it always your ambition to maybe get back into music in that way? Like,
Like, touring?
yeah, touring, or was this like you said, like it was just more of a creative outlet and whatever came from it. So like
Yeah.
after going from like a 25 person band, whatever how many people are in that, but and
Yeah,
to like touring
basically.
all the time, high energy touring all the time, and then kind of out of that, was it ever an ambition to kind of get back into performing and or maybe not?
No.
Yeah.
I yeah. Um, I'm trying not to, like, put myself down too much, but I'm not a very ambitious person, and I don't plan for the future a lot. I'm kinda just live moment by moment, and music is very much a creative outlet for me. I've been recording since I was, like, early high school,
Mhm.
um, and I was always doing it alone in my bedroom, and I didn't really share anything with anyone, so I have, like, millions of recordings that I've never showed anyone, um, but I guess sometimes I do dream of that, like, I dream of being the kind of person that could have the ability to do that, but I just know myself and I don't know. I guess I could find a way to do it, but it's not really like a big ambition for me. It's more so creating music is just my heart. And if that's all I do for the rest of my life, I'd be happy.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
That's I guess it's much better than the alternative where you're pushed to just make content. I guess it carries over to your just philosophy of art. For
Hmm.
you, I guess, is just because you enjoy it and
Hmm. Yeah.
however that comes across, you know, wherever it goes.
Yeah.
Would you be adverse to becoming like a full-time thing, or is it or would you rather it remain the way it is? Just kind of
That's a good question. It
make
really depends on the situation. Like,
Mhm.
if I had people, like a team of people that could really help me with
Mhm.
all the stuff that would like give me a big old headache,
Yeah.
that would be awesome, and yeah, maybe I'd consider it. And if it seems sustainable, maybe. I don't know though, because like even traveling, I just noticed that I really like to be settled in a place and I like to feel my roots in
Mhm.
the ground.
Yeah.
And even when I travel, um, I feel uprooted and kind of like, ah, what am I doing? It's kind of disorienting for me. So I don't know, I'd have to maybe have like a therapist on tour with me the whole time. uh, yeah, like a good team of people to help me get through it.
Actually might. I think more bands probably implement that. If anyone can ever tour again,
Yeah.
that would make a. Yeah, Eric and I were talking about how so many relationships and marriages don't last like
Right.
long,
Yeah.
don't last that kind of circuit, that the
Right.
traditional touring and
Yeah.
album recording circuit. It's, you see a lot of those things really crumble,
Hmm.
and there's
That would be my biggest concern. Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, and so yeah, there was a few bands like Me Without You does it, and John, as far they're able to bring their whole families with them on tour.
Hmm.
John Van Dusen, like, so he was in The Lonely Forest, and then he went solo, and his touring band is just him and his wife. I think she learned keys so that they could tour together.
I
So
love
she
that.
sings harmony and plays keys, and he plays acoustic, and that's his solo touring band, because he was sick of like never being with his wife on tour.
Yeah,
So
that would be awful.
his world tour is just him and his wife most of the time.
Yeah.
If you can bring your important relationships with you, then you're better off for it. And then, so speaking of that, I saw you guys. I mean, this is of course not this year, but you guys were hosting hosting shows in your home.
Hmm.
And so what was the ethos behind that?
Well, we live in New Braunfels, Texas, which is a very, um, it's like a small town feel, although it's growing a lot now. And a lot of the music scene here is like country swing, which is great, but we didn't really feel like we could go to a venue and play a show and feel like anybody would really be listening.
Okay. Mhm.
So we kind of wanted to create a space where bands of different genres could feel welcome and celebrated. And yeah, that was kind of our heart behind it.
And
Mm,
it's a very different feeling than at a venue.
for sure, yeah.
Um, and I guess, I mean, there's more, I guess, as far as the audience maybe pays more attention. I don't know if it's from
Mhm.
your experience or not, but like
Absolutely,
it
yeah.
seems like audiences pay much more attention in a house environment than I guess at a bar, which I guess is kind of a given.
Yeah.
So was that
Yeah,
kind of
absolutely.
why you guys were doing it too? Is maybe that the feeling of a home setting was more, was maybe
Yeah.
a better environment for these bands that maybe didn't get as much play.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely that was a part of it, just wanting to be more comfortable and have a more intimate setting where we could like actually connect with people after playing and um yeah, it's been the best thing. I really miss being able to do that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, that has been tough. I see there's some bands that are projecting like tours this coming summer,
Mm,
and maybe why not be optimistic, I guess. So hopefully
yeah.
you guys are able to start doing that again.
Yeah.
Um,
That'll be so awesome. I feel like it's going to be an explosion like once
yeah,
things are
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm excited for that.
There's a lot to be said for people needing community in that way.
Mhm.
Just everyone gathering together. Who knew that Netflix and social media weren't enough? I guess that's
Right?
like that's
The brain scientists.
yeah, basically they've been vocal about it, but yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
it's not enough at all. It's, I
No,
remember
not this.
there's advertisements on, I mean, covers it's from Facebook talking about how like you can be in community with people through Facebook, and it's like it's not the same though. It's not the same as everyone having dinner together. You know,
Yeah.
it's a very different experience. Like group chatting on Facebook and breaking bread are not the same.
Not at all.
Yeah, so
No.
I'll be
I mean, it's a fair substitute, but yeah,
if
not
yeah,
the same.
exactly. And so I kind of want to move over. This is kind of a sidestep from, um, I guess the subject matter of your lyrics. Um,
Mhm.
but you have a another Instagram, but it's not, of course, it's not just an Instagram, but you have melancholic mending. So
Mhm.
talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, so I started it because I have an interest in, like, emotional and spiritual health,
Hmm.
and I wanted to keep my music account separate from that, but I find myself wanting to share a lot of the stuff that I'm, like, reading, um, a lot of the prayer practices that are helping me, um, so yeah, that's kinda why I started that. I didn't know exactly, um, what it was gonna, like, turn into,
Hmm.
but I think it's kind of turning into, like, my spiritual direction Instagram.
That's is that
Um,
that kind of what you're going to school for? I mean, I saw you made a
yeah.
post about the continuing your education of the University of San Antonio. I want to say,
Yeah.
okay, all right,
UTSA,
okay,
University of Texas at San Antonio.
okay, all right, all right.
Yeah.
Wow, yes.
Yeah, so I'll be going there in January
Uh,
and finishing my degree finally, in psychology, and the hope is to go on to get my master's in counseling.
oh wow.
Um, yeah, and then alongside that, I'm doing a 2-year training to become a spiritual director.
Hmm.
So it kind of just combines these two things that I really am passionate about, spiritual health and emotional health.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
And do you think they're very bound up in each other, those two things?
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really, I think emotional health is really important to spiritual health because you can, I don't know, I think it's a big problem in the church that um, people don't work on their emotional health. And I think that's where legalism and fundamentalism comes from. And it's just causing a havoc in the church. And so I've just seen so much like awfulness from people in the church because they're just not aware of how unhealthy they are emotionally.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. And I've been really getting into this guy, Jim Wilder, he calls himself a neurotheologian. So he has his PhD in neuroscience and theology. And
Mhm.
so he talks a lot about the intersection of brain science and spirituality. And he talks about how you can't be spiritually healthy if you're not emotionally healthy. So
Mhm.
it's like emotional health is the stepping stone to spiritual health. So they
Okay.
very much go together.
Mhm.
And that's something that I'm really passionate about. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, obviously, you're moving toward your master's in it. And so
Yeah.
so the melancholic mending, is kind of an outpouring of this education path you're on.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah,
then
it kind of helps me to be able to share with people what I'm learning for it to like kind of sink in for myself.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, so you say you're gonna be it's a 2-year program in San Antonio?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm in the second year right now. Um, and I should be finishing in May with the spiritual direction.
Yeah.
And then the psychology degree, I'll be done in December.
Mhm. And so this will be and so with this degree, you'll be moving toward, would you be working specifically with a religious institution, or would this be something on your own that you would maybe partner with people part of I guess religious institutions or churches or
Yeah.
with that or individuals, I guess, like
Yeah. That's something that I'm still trying to figure out. I'm exploring that because I have a big heart for people who um, have been wounded by the church and have left the church. And so I don't want to limit myself to just people within the church.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think what I'm shooting for is my own private practice where I could kind of do whatever I want.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, but I'm still exploring that.
Yeah. And you have a little bit of time too. So that's
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
that's really helpful. Anyway, yeah. So with that, moving on with your degree, I guess we could kind of tie this up with: will you be pursuing writing through all this, or is this going to be, as far as music is concerned, or is this going to be kind of, is this your goal right now, just to focus on your degree and your and a job eventually? Is that, or do you think you're going to still incorporate writing and recording with all of this?
Yeah. Um, yeah, right now the goal is the degree
Mhm.
and finishing my spiritual direction certification. And
Yeah.
then, like I said, like music is a creative outlet for me. And so in the midst of that, I'm hoping that I'll have the capacity and time to creatively make stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows? It might be crazy. Um,
Nobody knows.
yeah.
I want to admit it's very frustrating to me because you have a very natural talent and you
Mm.
treat it like it's something that's this other thing. I guess I'll do it, or maybe I won't. I don't. I, it's very. I don't know. It's it's surprising to me.
That's a piercing compliment.
And I guess I hope so, because it seemed when I that was you're out that EP was released, I was just like, man, okay, so she's gonna start releasing records and touring. Super excited about this. Um,
Yeah.
and but yeah, it's maybe that's why the music is good the way it is, because it comes from, it doesn't you're not in this desperate place to be lauded for it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's not forced. I'm not
Yeah,
like holding on to it tightly.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a, I mean, I have friends that are doing music for a living or trying their hardest.
Yeah.
And they've a buddy of mine, Chaz, he's very saturated in the world of promotion and the steps you take for a release. Like there's that way of like, okay,
Yeah.
here's how we go about getting our name out there to have the
Right.
most impact, to be seen on the complete like ocean of content on social media.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
um and but then you on the other hand,
I'm
uh,
just like,
yeah, I guess I'll release something and then maybe not release anything ever again. You know,
yeah. It's
I,
just how I'm wired. Some people are
so
wired
funny to
to
me.
be really structured and
Yeah,
like, yeah, it's just difference in personality.
yeah,
I don't think I'll ever be super that way.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that definitely is like a growth thing for me that I'm working on is structure. Like I need structure, but at the same time my personality bucks against it. Like I hate structure.
yeah.
I hate love it. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely envy people that are like that because I'm just like, how how are you like that?
Yeah. Anyway, it was anyway just funny to me. It's just funny how you have all this talent and a very natural and very unique way of composing and performing. And you sang on one of my songs,
Hmm.
Summer Bird, which I really appreciate that. I'm
Yeah,
really
it was
excited.
an honor. It's a beautiful song. I'm
Thank you
excited for
very
people to
much.
hear it.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear what Khan does with it. I really am.
Yeah,
I just
I'm sure he's gonna do great.
oh yeah. I just actually buttoned up you guys helped with this, but the Kickstarter failed. But then a buddy of mine did a GoFundMe.
Mm-hmm.
Did Tanya already tell this story about how I spent like 2 months trying to get a Kickstarter off the ground, and after we didn't make the goal, a buddy of mine started a GoFundMe and got as much as I had raised in 40 minutes. And that I couldn't even do in 2 months. And that the month, well, there's 1 month of actual Kickstarter, and there's another month or more of just like developing everything, like the album art and the T-shirt and like the scheduling. Anyway, and you guys,
that's amazing. That's a good friend right there.
He's very good friend, very good friend.
Yeah,
and he did it.
I'm so glad.
He did while I was asleep too.
I know. I got a message on Instagram from your wife, who I love, by the way. She's so awesome. And your kids, they're so cute.
They're very cute.
Especially Selah. I feel like Selah is like, it's like looking in a mirror sometimes. Yeah, like when I was a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just this free spirit. Is
that how you pronounce her name?
Selah. Mm-hmm.
Selah. And what's your son's name?
Levi.
Levi.
So yeah, Levi and Selah. He's 7 and she's 4, and they're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I just kind of wanted to end with that. I really appreciate you guys'. I mean, you guys supported are supporting the album. I appreciate it. And then
we're rooting for you.
And I've also I cut out some. I threw you on another song too. I don't know. You have this little part in on the song "Innocence" that Eric sang on and played on, and I actually have a little bit of you in there too. I cut and spliced you up in the bridge.
Whoa, so, yeah, that's cool.
Hopefully it sounds cool. It's kind of like maybe a Sylvan Esso kind of panning blippy thing. I hope it sounds good. We'll find out.
I love Sylvan Esso.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear.
I'm really enjoying their new album a lot. So
yeah. When are you planning to release?
So when I talked to Khan, he said he couldn't get to mixing it till February.
Okay.
And so I'm just finishing up, buttoning up all the files. I had to re-record some vocals. And so I have like 3 or 4 of the just folders full of stems, and 2 more I need to finish. And then I'll just box it to him. And then he said he'll be able to tackle it in February. Cool. And then Huntley's going to be doing the mastering. And so whenever he gets to it too. I mean,
awesome.
I guess like maybe a lesser, more relaxed version of how you go about creatively. Like, however it gets released or whenever, I have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
I think that I want it to sound as good as it can sound. And again, like I guess realistically, it's an outpouring of just the joy of creating. And so I'm just blessed that I was able to have financial help to make it happen.
Yeah.
And then I mean, there's a possibility it could be the last record maybe that gets released. I mean, it's like who knows what's going to happen. So but yeah, I just appreciate you singing on it. And
I loved it.
Good.
I'm so excited for you.
It'll be fun. So I just want to say good luck with school.
Thank you.
Thanks for talking with me. Sorry it's been such an adventure getting to this point.
I don't think that's your fault. I think it's been more my fault. So
no,
I'm sorry.
No, but I look forward. I mean, even if as you said, you have a bunch of demos that you haven't released. So I mean, you definitely have the content. So
yeah, I probably have like 50 albums I could.
Oh my gosh.
No, they're not complete songs. It's just little diddlies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I definitely have stuff to work with for sure.
Yeah, cool. Well, anyway, thank you, Amber. And
thank you.
You have a great day.
You too. Tell your family I said hi.
I will.
Bye.